All right. Hello, everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I am so very, very excited today. I am chatting with the one and only legendary guitar player, Phillip Sandoval of Armored Saint. I can't believe I'm chatting with you. This is very exciting. One of my favorite guitar players ever. So
Really? Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you for the kind words.
yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Right on.
Well, why don't we start off with, it's been a year and a half. We've all been kind of locked away. What have you been up to in this past year and a half? What's been going on with Phillip Sandoval?
I built two guitars. I've been working on a solo EP with my brother. He's producing and he's playing drums.
Nice.
And rocking and rolling and listening to music, learning a lot about music. And still, I'm a student and I'm learning a little bit of things. And of course, learning Eddie Van Halen licks as well.
Oh, cool. And of course, yeah, it was his, would have been his birthday yesterday, correct? Or was it today? I know it was this week.
Not his passing 1 year, October.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a rough day.
Yeah, it was a rough day.
Yeah. But that's very cool that's really cool. I mean, obviously he's an amazing guitar player. You're an amazing guitar player. So I would love to hear you playing some Van Halen tunes. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool tunes, well, first off, this amazing album came out last year.
October 30th, I think.
Yeah. It's almost a year old. So
yeah.
Very, very close. Fantastic album. I mean, I can't stop listening to it. I was listening to it right before we started this interview, actually. And I was listening to it yesterday and the day before. It's phenomenal. It's such a great album. So I would imagine it was kind of a weird thing to have to release that in the middle of a pandemic and not being able to do any touring to promote the album. Probably first time ever that you guys have been kind of trapped and not able to really, and especially this, I mean, I love all your work, but I mean, this album just kills. It's amazing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to ask. I was curious about the writing process with the album and kind of the background with the album. With you and the band, and kind of how it all came to be.
Yeah. Well, first of all, releasing album during a pandemic, which we've never gone through before ever in our lives and stuff, was a hit or miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should we had done that? Anyway, we did it, but we're not touring on it. It's a little weird. I mean, you got to get, the world is different now. I mean, you know what I mean? For everyone. And so it was weird and stuff. And it's going to be maybe a little weird still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a political guy. I don't like to talk politics and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of like a private thing now, because you could get, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to like separate the fans and get people things like that. You don't want to end up on Blabbermouth saying anything, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because the people are ruthless on the internet, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, the writing process for Punching the Sky was per usual, with John and Joey taking the helm, and that's great. And we have kind of like a way of working together in that manner that works for Armored Saint and gets things done and stuff like that. And it was an amazing experience, and the fact that the sound of the album was really good. I mean, it just, and it's different a little bit than the other album, the other albums and stuff. And I think Jeff and I definitely, played well on it, and stuff. And the sounds are great. And I got to write, co-write 3 songs on it,
Oh, nice. Which songs did you write?
End of the Attention Span. That was kind of my concept and idea, because people's attention spans really are short now. We live in a swipe world, the universe is out there. But,
right, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And I was looking, I Googled it, and people's attention spans have diminished. I think 17%, you know. The University of Texas did this, I don't know, I'm just going to make a joke, but it didn't come out right. But yeah, so that came out like that. It was at first it was death to the attention span, but John changed it to the end of the attention span. And then Do Wrong to None was a riff that Gonzo played, and John liked it, and I just kind of like jammed over it with him, and then we sent it them in the demo. They liked it. And then Unfair, which was a really cool song that John used a couple of lyrics of mine, and actually a word or two, and you know. So I'm glad that he was open to that, and he usually writes all the lyrics. He did, you know what I mean? But he took a lyric from me and stuff, and he wrote it into the song. And he said, "Hey, we wrote a song and stuff like that. Well, you're gonna get credit and stuff." And I was like, "Wow, cool." And he goes, "I used one of your words and stuff." Cool, nice. Thank you. So I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. With I was curious with the writing, kind of how does that process work in terms of like, you know, with the music initially? Is it something where like you and Jeff come up with riffs, and then you know Joey and John come up with lyrics, or is it, you know, kind of everybody's kind of coming in with different material and presenting things, and you guys, you know, kind of hash it out and kind of figure out what you want to do, or and what is that process like?
Oh, well, it's John and Joey usually have almost like a full demo, you know.
Oh, wow.
They send it to us, and then we work on it, and then we input ideas and stuff like that. And it's very organic. They have a great connection in the songwriting process, and you know, if it works, why do you want to mess with it?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and it definitely works. I mean, this is, like I said before, I mean, I love all your albums, but this one, I mean, there's just something, I don't know, it just kicks ass. It's really fresh. It's really focused. It's really powerful. Not that your other albums aren't, but I don't, there was something that this album, and I can't put a finger on it exactly, but it just grabbed me like right away.
Well, I think so too, you know, and I think we kind of pushed a little bit for involvement in that in certain ways, you know, internally within the band, and I think it helped. It helped to initiate a different level, you know, or a different sense of what the other albums were recorded by. How they were done, you know. So sort of more playing on the album, you know, stuff like that was done by everyone, and it kicks ass, and the result is that punching the sky. You know what I mean? So we're trying to improve on ourselves as musicians, as writers, as on every level, you know, and even as humans too, you know, as people, and you know, working out and just healthy, and you know how like the world is now, you know. So every little thing helps. It's not just music, but it's also your person, who you are, how you present yourself, you know, how you are with people and stuff, that and it comes out in the music's somewhat and stuff. And it's, you know, people, you know, die and stuff all the time now, you know. So I don't know, I'm humbled by life. What I want to say, and that translates in how, you know, the album is, I think.
Yeah,
for definitely. Me, you know, for me.
I agree. And then you guys have also got coming out really, really soon. I think in the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, Symbol of Salvation Live is coming out, which is also very exciting. Where was that recorded? When was that recorded?
That was recorded about 4 years ago at the Gramercy Theater in New York City. The DVD comes out October 22nd. You can pre-order at indie music store metalblade.com/Armored Saint.
Nice.
I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding about that, but you know, me getting kind of crazy, you know.
I love it. I think it's great.
But that was interesting. You know, Symbol of Salvation is a great album, and it's David Pritchard's legacy. That and there's so many layers to this the album. I mean, and things that happened, and working with Dave Jordan, and just it was. I'm telling you, the trials and tribulations that Armored Saint goes through, and just like still persevering, still going strong because we love music, and you know we respect each other and stuff, and you know we're kind of like on the positive foot, you know, with everything. And the Gramercy Theater was great. It was a great venue and stuff, and you'll get to see it on DVD. You know, enjoy the music. You know, Symbol of Salvation live played in its entirety. You know, it kicks ass.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for that to come out. I'm really excited for that. That's definitely exciting news. And yeah, what a great tribute to David. What a cool way to pay tribute to him too. That's really cool. So I mean, you mentioned one thing, you know, kind of, you know, this longevity, this legacy of this amazing band. I mean, you guys formed in what, 82, I believe, if I'm
81, 82, 81, 82, yeah.
So yeah, 40 years ago. You know, and you know, there was a little bit of a hiatus there in the 90s when John was in Anthrax. But I mean, you know, so for all intents and purposes, you know, 40 years, a band, an amazing band with the same core members always. I mean, it's always been the same people for the most part, you know, apart from David, you know, rest in peace. But what do you attribute to the longevity of Armored Saint?
I think basically, I think it's the music. We love the music, and we love music, and the bond that we have within the band is very strong. We've known each other for a long time, and Jeff Duncan as well knows us from a very long time. He was a kick-ass guitar player in Odin. He's now an Armored Saint. He's been like a brother. Everybody's like really close, and we just respect each other, I think, you know, and we have a lot of respect for each other, and there's something going on there, you know. I think the core members of Armored Saint, it just creates something on its own, you know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I don't know this, but it just as a fan, my impression has always been that you guys love each other and that you're brothers, and I'm sure you have disagreements and whatnot, but you seem to really connect, you know, and obviously your actual brother is in the band. The drummer is your brother. But I mean, as far as you said, you guys have known each other for a long time, but I would say, you know, on top of that, also just incredibly strong songwriting, always from day one, from the very beginning. You guys always had, you know, from that EP and you know, March of the, you know, your first full album, March of the Saint, which got a copy right here on vinyl, which is such an amazing album. I love it.
I'm not sure if I could say this yet, but that's going to be re-released.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
40th anniversary, I think. You know, you're right. 40 years, man. 40 years. You know, not a lot of bands. Well, actually, there's a lot of bands. But there's a lot of bands that have longevity. I would say in the metal, like in the thrash and just that kind of, well, Slayer, you know, they're gone now. But what I'm saying is, like, there's kind of like a very close camaraderie with metal bands, and I think, in a way, it's more of a lifestyle, you know, and that's your life. You're not just gonna love metal and then go, I think I'm 50 years old. I think I'm not gonna listen to Van Halen anymore.
Right.
You know, I mean, I love blues. I just found a new somebody to look. A new idol, I guess, is Samantha Fish, who plays blues and sings and stuff.
Oh yeah, she's incredible.
She's incredible. I saw her at the Troubadour and stuff, and I felt like I was at the Starwood. You know, when I used to go to the Starwood and see A Quiet Riot and stuff like that. But I mean, she's playing blues, and that was just like front row, and I felt like a little kid again. You know, and it's been a long time since I felt that from an artist. You know, I think the longevity of Armored Saint is stands on its own. And over here, 40 years later, we're still doing it. And we thank our fans. You know, we're not really that huge like, you know, some of these bands are, but the fans that we do have are very loyal. And we sense that about them. And thank you so much for our fans.
Yeah. And you guys should be bigger, by the way. I think you're an incredible band. And not only are you incredible, I think you're highly influential too. I mean, you've influenced so many other, you know, a lot of younger bands. I think you can hear, you know, especially in the, you know, there's kind of this new kind of neo power metal movement right now. And I hear a lot of, you know, I hear riffs and go, that sounds like a Sandoval riff to me, you know, or at least influence from it, you know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you're too kind.
No, but I, in all honesty, I think there's you know, a lot to be said about the way you guys play and your influence on other bands that's been around for a long time. And it's unfortunate, I think, that, you know, sometimes, you know, the major media doesn't pick up on you know, apart from some, you know, some of the bigger bands, they don't always hit the smaller bands, you know, apart from like European magazines and whatnot, so, or websites.
Yeah.
But but you guys are amazing, I think. So
thank you so much, Victor.
I wanted to ask you, well, let's go back in time, maybe quite a ways back in time. So how did you originally get started in music? I mean, obviously you and your brother are musicians, professional musicians together. How did you guys get involved in music initially? Did you come from a musical family?
No, we didn't come from a musical family. Initially Gonzo, Joey, and John knew each other in elementary school, and I was like a grade older, and they always used to talk about Queen, Led Zeppelin, you know, and stuff like that, and you know, I was into music too, but I was more into like Elton John, you know, and stuff like that, wow. You know, rock and roll, and I remember singing Benny and the Jets to some girls across the street, and roller skating, you know, when I was like, I don't know, like 8 or 7, no, 8 or 9 or something. And then ever since then, you know what I mean? It kind of like grew. Yeah. And then, and believe it or not, Gonzo and my sister took guitar lessons at church because my mom and dad were in some church thing. And then they were giving guitar lessons, so they learned guitar first. And Gonzo actually learned guitar when he was in 6th grade and stuff. And I picked it up later because I think it was in junior high, or they were going to do a talent show, you know, and I saw the talent show and stuff. And I said to myself, man, I want to be part of this. It's cool, you know. Your friends are on stage, they're playing music, and people are like, oh my God, you know, there's an excitement to that, you know. Yeah. So then I picked up the guitar, and I was very drawn to Jimmy Page at first. You know, Jimmy Page at first, I really loved him. The movie, The Song Remains the Same. And it's just like, you know, when you're 14, 15, never seen, you know, Led Zeppelin live before, and you go in and see that movie, it's just a shockingly, you know, like, wow. I mean, yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like the drumming, I mean, and the guitar playing, the singing, and everything is just like great. So that was influential. And then I got into like Judas Priest, UFO, Thin Lizzy, Queen, you know, Van Halen, you know, my first concert was Thin Lizzy. Oh, wow. And UFO, yeah, that was my first concert, 1977. And I mean, come on, Queen with Freddie Mercury, and, you know, Night at the Opera, A Day at the Races. I mean, and then I saw Kiss, you know, the original Kiss, you know, Thin Lizzy, you know, with Phil Lynott. I mean,
yeah, what more could you want?
I mean, you know, that's it. That took me there, you know. So, you know, and then I bought a Les Paul. I bought a Les Paul because of Jimmy Page in 1977. I went. John went with me, Gonzo and Joey. And when I went to buy it, the keyboard player from the Babies was there, you know, this English guy, and he was playing the hits on the piano, and I was like going, damn, wow. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember that. And, you know, he had his English accent. He sounded so fucking cool. And I remember paying like $650 for a brand new Les Paul standard, just like Jimmy Page's. And that's the start of it all right there, man.
That is awesome. Do you still own that guitar?
No, that was a long story. When we were on tour with Metallica in Boston, it got stolen. Also with David Pritchard's Flying V.
Oh shit. That's not
Got
cool.
stolen. And an inside job. I don't even know. Maybe like, you know, like Whitey, that one guy, that gangster dude. Maybe he had something to do with it.
Right.
Boston.
Yikes! Wow, that's crazy.
No, seriously, dude. And it's funny because I was like, oh my god. I mean, I had no guitar, right? And then the band's like, well, we're gonna go in Rochester, New York next, and we're gonna get your guitar and stuff. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So we went in there, me and Dave, and there was like a million guitars, you know what I mean? And it seemed like the band was in a hurry or something. And it was like, we didn't get a chance to look at any guitars or nothing. So I didn't get the guitar. So my roadie had this shitty ass freaking Stratocaster copy that I had to play, dude.
Oh wow.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of talking that a lot of people don't know about. You know, people don't know that little story. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's so. What was that? And you said you were touring with Metallica at the time.
Yeah.
What album was that? Was that the?
I did Lightning Tour.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, but it was your. Were you guys?
March of the Saint.
Okay, yeah. That's why I figured, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
okay,
March of the Saint. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. What a frustrating, especially your first tour.
Right. That's my introduction to, you know, but I you know, I would say I'm a survivor, and believe me, there's a lot of trials and tribulations that I could write a book, dude. I could write a book about all the stuff
I'm sure.
They do not know. They do not know about what happens in Armored Saint. You know,
right.
But you know, and maybe for later, but I don't know, dude.
And you don't have to answer this question, but I was curious about this. So Dave Mustaine claims, and I take what he says with a grain of salt sometimes. I love Megadeth, but I don't always buy. I won't get into it. But anyway, he claims that Armored Saint and the original Metallica band, I guess, or when he was in Metallica, they were at a party and you guys got into a fight or something like that, and that he broke your ankle. Is that true? Did that really happen?
Yeah, it did.
Oh wow.
I love Dave Mustaine. I mean, come on, he's a genius. You know? He basically invented a thrash movement, you know, a technical thrash, and you know, the playing is incredible. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Off the top, you know, the drumming, the playing, the lyrics. For him to be playing those riffs and singing at the same freaking time, you know, I have to give him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Every time I've ever seen them live, I just kind of stare at him the entire time. I find myself just staring, like just watching him playing and singing, like, wow. Yeah. As you said, it's like, how the hell does he do that? That's amazing. Yeah.
So that did happen. You know, we were at Betsy Bitch's house, and we were all like inebriated, and stuff. You're 21, 22, you know, and we were moshing, but I don't think the word was moshing, because the mosh pit has not been invented yet, you know.
Right.
Metallica were gonna invent the mosh pit
right.
on the Ride the Lightning tour, and which they did, and we were part of that. So we saw all that happen, but so we're like dogpiling, you know, like in football, you know, you dogpile on someone, and we were like all kidding around and stuff. We were actually having a great time, you know, and we were dogpiling on James and whatever. And then this is what I don't remember this, but he says that I accidentally pushed Lars, which I think I accidentally pushed him. But it was more like I was falling down, and then I needed something to hold on to, and then I kind of grabbed onto him, and then he fell down. So it made it look like I had some kind of power or something. So he falls down, and then Dave Mustaine saw this and goes, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." You know, he had the smell back then, and then it was my turn to get piled on. right?
Oh, okay.
So I have like 12 guys on top of me, you know, and my ankle is to the side, and I could see him in the side of my peripheral, and he actually like ran and then jumped up really high and boom,
Oh man,
landed on my ankle, you know. And at first, you know, I was like, oh shoot, but you know, it happened. But
right.
not the way he said it in the book. He said it like he can hear snack crackle pop of the tree branch.
Right.
And he said it like he was Bruce Lee, and he had incredible like a kick.
Right.
Nothing like that at all. How could you hear a snap of a tree branch when you're listening to Motorhead,
Right.
Ace of Spades at volume 12?
Right. Exactly.
But nice. I love Dave. You know, we've talked. We email each other and stuff. There's love and stuff. And you know, he apologized later and he gave me a guitar. You know.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's all good, people.
Yeah.
All water under the bridge.
Nice. Yeah. I was just curious about that because I read his book and I was like, did that really happen? Is that real? Because it kind of sounded, as you said, like kind of this kung fu sort of thing. And I know he trained in martial arts, but it's like
no, he's great. He like I said, he's a force of nature, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Much respect to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I love Megadeth. I'm a massive fan. But yeah, I mean that whole era for me is, you know, and I listen to a lot of music, but for me, you know, that those early mid 80s, that was a pretty special time to be a metalhead, I think, because it was, you know, a lot of that was still very underground, and it was just, you know, groundbreaking. Like nobody had played like that. You know, I mean, there was the new wave of British heavy metal stuff, but you know, your band and Metallica and Megadeth and you know, all these bands at that time took it to a whole different level, you know, with the whole speed metal and kind of power metal, and just doing something that, you know, none of us had ever heard before. And it was right, you know, pretty amazing scene.
Yeah.
And you guys continued
total vibe then. Complete vibe. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah. I would imagine growing up in California, being in that area at that time was pretty intense. I mean, there must have been, did you guys have a sense that you were, you know, were you just kind of doing your thing, or did you have a sense that you were creating something really revolutionary at the time?
I think we were just influenced by bands like Judas Priest, UFO, Thin Lizzy, and stuff like that, and we were just like kind of doing our thing. But then here comes fucking Metallica, fucking with the roller coaster, the fucking train of, you know, and it's like yeah, I would say they started something new, but Wasp had something too, and they had a theatrical thing going on. I mean, they had like a girl like half naked on thinking like a rack,
right,
pulling her. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like kind of like Alice Cooper and stuff like that. So yeah, I think in that time, in that era, people were like pushing the limits, you know. I mean, James Hetfield has one of the greatest fucking right hand rhythms that anybody's ever played, you know. And how did he develop that? He didn't go to the Van Halen thing. He didn't go to the to the blues or anything like that. He kind of like developed something completely new. You know what I mean? And there's like a gazillion billion people that try to emulate him, you know, or that style, you know. But then they changed it around.
Yeah.
You know, they came out with a Black Album, which, I mean, you know what I mean? I think there's growth, you know what I mean? And I would say that the early 80s was a lot of growth in a lot of things. There's Yngwie, there's Eddie Van Halen, there's Metallica, there's, you know, Iron Maiden, all these bands in the early 80s just really pushing the limits, you know. And I don't see a lot of, I think a lot of the bands now have a conjunction of those styles and that kind of legacy, and now kind of putting it together, you know, in their own way, you know. I think another groundbreaking band was Meshuggah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but that's not in the 80s, but I kind of went off.
No. I totally agree. I agree. You, sorry, I'll kind of circle back a little bit. You had mentioned earlier in terms of kind of those early days of you starting playing guitar, that Jimmy Page was a big influence. I would imagine, you know, like Eddie Van Halen was as well. Who were some of the other guitar players that influenced your style, or, you know, at least your ambition to play guitar?
Michael Schenker.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, Michael Schenker, Gary Moore, you know, David Gilmour, you know, Jeff Beck. Whew.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Beck, you know, Tommy Bolin, you know, a lot of people don't know about Tommy Bolin, but, you know, Jeff Beck was onto him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning, you know, I mean, I'm a student of music, student of the guitar and stuff, and I'm very humbled by some of these kids that are incredible, you know, and stuff. And you know, you can like measure yourself or compete with certain things. I think it has to do more of yourself, you know, and stuff. And some people try to compete with people on the internet and stuff like that, and then there's just so many great people now that play guitar and stuff. It's not like, you know, you had to like slow down the speed of a record player, try to cop what's going on, you know, which was super hard. And some people did it, some people didn't. But Queen was a great influence, you know, although Brian May's sound is just untouchable.
Yeah.
But basically those were my influences, you know.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. And you can definitely hear some of that in the way you play, but there's also, it's also very fresh and very, you've got your own thing going, which is cool. And I feel like, well, both, you know, before you and David, and then now you and Jeff play off of each other really well, as, you know, also, well, I mean, the whole band does. And unfortunately, I've never seen you live. However, I've watched.
Where do you live?
I'm in Utah.
Utah? Okay.
Yeah.
Utah's great. I mean, I love the scenery and just it's an awesome place.
Yeah, the scenery is great. You know, socially it's a little stifled, but
yeah. It's not Hollywood.
No.
It's not Hollywood on Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, you know, the one thing I do is and so I've been working from home for the last year and a half. And after I get off work, a lot of times I'll ride the exercise bike and watch videos. And I watch a lot of live, you know, just because I'm, you know, hungry for live music since we can't watch, you know, we don't get to go to concerts.
Right.
And I've watched several really, really incredible Armored Saint concerts from the last, you know, several years. One was, it was in Germany. I think it was in 2018, maybe 2019, and it was mind-blowingly good. I mean, just
thank you.
I mean, you guys live, I mean, you're so tight and you feed off of each other and the crowd. I mean, it was one of, you know, and I've seen a lot of live concerts. I've watched a lot of live concerts, you know, on YouTube and whatnot. But I mean, I think that show is, I mean, it's way up there. It's one of the top I mean, it was incredible. Just I mean, you've mastered your music. It's obvious. And you know, like you said, it's part of that longevity of the band. You guys play off of each other so well, and you know, everything's very organic, which is really cool to watch.
Yes. Well, we have some really, well, first of all, John is a great singer. I mean, he was asked to join Metallica, like probably our second gig.
Oh, wow.
Second or third gig, which, I mean, you know, that must give somebody an incredible confidence. I mean,
yeah,
you know, so I think the core members of the band are just fucking amazing. All of us to create this thing that is Armored Saint, and we're going to be creating this thing in December when we play with Black Label Society, Mr. Zakk Wylde, Doom, Father of Doom.
Nice.
Yeah. So for me, come on, this guy's a fucking guitar hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking Ozzy Osbourne guitar player. I mean, Zakk Wylde is just an incredible guy. Plus, he's a nice guy and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that live thing We're playing 5 dates in December. We're hitting San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Arizona.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I might have to make a little road trip then.
Yeah,
that would be really cool, incredible to see that show.
Yeah.
Do you have? Do you guys have any other plans as far as touring at this point?
No, not just that right now. Maybe like later on in the new year 2022. It's just unfortunate because we didn't get to really tour for Punching the Sky.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, COVID has a lot to do with it. Now I read in the news that COVID, there's a lot of people like shipments coming in from international shipments coming in are being stopped at the port or something like that. So this is off topic, but just COVID has a lot to do with why people weren't touring and not doing the live music thing,
Yeah.
And it still might be a little weird for maybe another year or
Yeah, or more even. Unfortunately, I guess we'll kind of see what happens, how it plays out. So, as you said before, Punching the Sky came out almost a year ago. Have you guys been doing any writing? Is there, plans? I mean, maybe it's too early at this point, but are there plans for another album? Have you guys been talking about that at all?
We have a double album coming out next year.
Oh, wow.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Phil. You're killing me, Phil.
No, but my brother thought that we should have been writing for another album because we didn't tour on this one, but that was a good idea. But right now, I think people are doing their thing. Jeff's very busy with his bands in Las Vegas, and I'm working on a solo EP, and cool. And Joey's Fate's Warning and always staying busy and stuff. So, it's going to be a while before I'm saying tours again, but we will tour again,
Nice.
But we'll just have 5 dates coming up.
Tell me about your EP. What's that all about? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, it's like I play a little bit of different style of music as well, and I just want to show people that there's going to be a couple of metal songs and stuff, but a couple of other things. I actually wrote a soothing song because there's a lot of like death and this and this and this and that in the world and stuff like that, and there's so many. So I wanted to write a different color, So I wrote something that was kind of like soothing, that you could listen to it and go, "Oh, this is nice." You know what I mean? I just kind of groove. I love groove. I love the drums and how that entails with everything, and so we're doing demos right now, and
cool.
And it's not going to be an instrumental album I'm not sure that I could be doing an instrumental and just entertaining people for that long, just playing guitar, but I need other things. So I have a couple of guest singers coming in and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So it's very nice. It's going to be a couple of surprises here and there, but it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be different. And, it's not about I want to see how many likes I get. The girls on Instagram, how come they have 49,000 likes and I only get 7? It's not like that. It's more because I need to the love of music and to write. That's basically what I'm doing. If it sells 2 copies, yeah. If one person goes, "Hey, I like that," that's cool.
Nice.
But I like it. As long as I'm gonna like it. That's kind of what matters with this EP thing, and my brother seems to like it too. So
cool. Now is Gonzo playing drums on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
okay, cool.
Playing drums, producing, and engineering it.
Oh, wow, very cool. Are you at liberty to say who any of the singers are? At this point? Not yet.
It's a surprise,
Okay,
but,
cool.
But you're gonna be surprised.
Nice. When do you see this being released?
Probably next year,
Okay.
I mean, there's no rush. I mean, Wolf Van Halen took like what 7 years to do his EP. Mick Mars still hasn't even finished his, and he started talking about it 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
But let me just point this out, that I'm not going to do that. I mean, but I do want it to come out, but maybe a year, next year. There's no rush.
Very cool. Very cool. That's exciting news. I'm excited to hear that.
It is exciting. Yeah.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Are there any other projects you're working on at this point? Anything else going on?
I kind of want to play with a bass player and maybe do a 3-piece, me, my brother, and somebody that can really like jam with us and stuff, because there's a lot of improv that me and my brother do that kind of like takes that jam session to something else. Mm-hmm. And we just need the bass player that's going to be there keeping it down together and just going, I mean, do whatever that is, and then I could go, and then we could, like, me and my brother can do like some vocals and stuff like that, and just like create something, as a 3-piece, that's kind of like my next thing,
I love it.
But yeah, and because I want to play like, also some things that are a little more on the bluesy and kind of jazzy kind of feel, somewhere where you could go to a bar and just pick up the guitar and play some blues, and people are going to go, whoa, what's that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's not so much fuss in playing live in a situation like that, whereas, playing theaters or something like that, that's different. And, being in a well-known band, there's a lot of complications, but being a 3-piece and stuff where you could just go and anywhere and just play.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking into that, but that's a very early stages of, it's a thought process right now,
Very cool. I love it. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of seeing you and Gonzo playing blues in a bar, I'm all over that.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, Phil, this was a pleasure speaking with you tonight. I thank you so much. Obviously, this amazing album is out. It's been out for a year.
Yeah.
People need to pick it up. It's incredible. There'll be a description in the description of this video. There's links to Armored Saint pages. So check it out. And the new live album or live DVD comes out in a couple
22nd.
Weeks. Yeah, October 22nd. Yeah, very cool. So definitely pick that up, everybody. That's going to be killer. I cannot wait to hear that. So Phil, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
This was great. Have a great night.
You too.